From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Diane Parker. Miller has our Friday forecast. Plus, the Grizz are in Texas for the big game this weekend. But first, our top story. As we have previously reported, most Montana residents will likely receive a second property tax bill following a state Supreme Court ruling. Gallatin County is among 49 counties out of the 56 in Montana that decided to charge residents less than what the state expected of them. But after a Montana Supreme Court ruling, that gesture was knocked down. Because of this, some counties sued the state, leading to the Montana Supreme Court's determination that counties must charge the full 95 mills mandated by the state. Now, many folks are left wondering who is to blame for this.
Property taxes are a function of local spending. The state doesn't get any of this money. What we did during the session is the same thing that's been done for 30 years, but it's all a function of local spending. We've got to rein in local spending.
We reached out to Gallatin County Commissioner Scott McFarlane, who responded in an email saying, quote, "This is an assertion that we have heard many times this year from the governor's office. For Gallatin County, our response for our taxpayers is relatively simple. As with all local government, our general fund tax levy is statutorily limited to increasing at 1/2 the rate of inflation. The remainder of our county tax bill are the 4 voted mill levies for search and rescue, 911, open space, and the county rest home. Local government's sole access to tax revenue is through property tax. We continue to agree with our local government peers in support of diversifying our access to revenue away from sole reliance on property tax. In fact, Gallatin County sends one of the highest amounts of tax dollars to the state. This year, Gallatin County sent the state more than $68 million. That is $12 million more than a year ago. This week, an unruly passenger attacked a flight attendant on a Montana-bound plane. MTN's John Amy spoke to Butte's chief executive, who just happened to be on that flight while all that chaos unfolded.
Butte Chief Executive J.P. Gallagher and his family were having a smooth return flight back to Montana after a relaxing trip in Cozumel. That is, until the last leg of the flight.
Sir! Stop! What the hell do you think you're doing?
This is great. We actually have hit every one of our flights, connecting flights. We're going to get in town the way we thought we were. I'll be able to make council meeting tomorrow night, and then all hell broke loose.
Stop! 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 Stop!
Gallagher's wife, Erna, took phone video of a passenger on the American Airlines flight attacking the attendant as the flight was heading from Dallas to Bozeman Wednesday afternoon. The attendant and some passengers were able to quickly restrain the man, and the flight was diverted to Amarillo.
I could hear, the scrambling and a few cuss words coming out of people's mouths, but words I won't say on TV, but it was a crazy scenario.
The FAA identified the passenger suspected in the incident as Keith Fagiana. Gallagher said he didn't notice anything leading up to the disturbance.
People kind of speculated that he was drunk or on something and was having, like a mental breakdown or something that happened at that time.
Gallagher said the situation was very unnerving while it was taking place.
It's the unknown. Was there something that was found or somebody making threats with a weapon? Then that was it was a little unnerving, but for the most part, it seemed like everything got under control really quick.
The incident delayed the return to Montana by about 7 hours, but Gallagher was just glad no one was seriously hurt.
I talked to the flight attendant. He seemed to be fine, and I think a little shaken, like anyone would be, But, I think they must train the flight attendants well. They were ready.
The chief executive added this incident won't discourage him from taking more flights. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
It is 2024, meaning Montana Rail Link is no more. BNSF Railway officially took control of the Southern Rail Line through Montana this week, covering more than 900 miles of former Northern Pacific track between Huntley and Sandpoint, Idaho. BNSF says they are committed to retaining MRL's entire workforce. A Forsyth businesswoman who admitted to defrauding customers through her company, Rosebud County Insurance, has been sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. 57-year-old Kylene Hagedorn pled guilty in August of last year to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Court documents allege that she took payments from clients to cover insurance premiums, but never directed them to the provider. Hagedorn also forged signatures and misappropriated hundreds of thousands of dollars from clients throughout Rosebud County. For the last 5 days, the town of Browning has been without running water. This comes after a key instrument on the Two Medicine Water Company's water plant broke, halting flow. A replacement was ordered, which also broke, and the second replacement was shipped from South Carolina, causing the long delay. More than 1,000 individuals have been served by volunteers with fresh bottled water throughout this emergency. Schools were even shut down earlier this week, Tuesday, and most businesses followed suit Wednesday when the Blackfeet Tribal Council officially declared a state of emergency.
It hurts our whole community. Without water, I just worry about our kids. I really do. And in our community as well.
Fortunately, the water plant is now functional and pending tests for safety should have water flowing normally by Sunday. The town will remain in stage 2 fire restrictions, meaning no open flames or fireworks until further notice. Emergency water distributions are still available by contacting the Blackfeet Incident Command Center. The lack of affordable housing affects all Montanans, including our seniors. At Sapphire Lutheran Homes in Hamilton, they're able to provide subsidized rent through a tax credit program for their seniors. One of the main affordable housing apartment buildings is the Manor, which is now more than 45 years old. The Montana Department of Commerce has allocated money to Sapphire so it can complete the necessary renovations to keep its residents safe. That includes updating fire safety. Sapphire was awarded a little over $4.1 million for this remodel, which is expected to start in June.
Getting a fresh sense and preserving that housing for our current residents. It's not building things for residents that aren't with us already. It's preserving what we already have, I think, is what I'm excited about.
And that is a look at some of the day's top stories.
Happy Friday, everybody. TGIF boom as we cruise on into the weekend. Our local forecast coming up. But let's start off with that national forecast. First off, portions of the southern and central Great Plains seeing some light to moderate snow today across the region today in our area. Portions of the southern and central Appalachians, we do have significant icing possible tonight into Saturday. Here's a big story. Portions of the mid-Atlantic and northeast. There's a huge winter storm heading that way. It begins impacting tomorrow. It could be a big mess in those areas. Northwest coast Pacific storm system to bring renewed rounds of heavy mountain snow and coastal rain tonight into Saturday. Here locally, we do have a cold front that's making its way through the area, giving us a chance of some mountain snow, lower elevation snow. And we have another cold front coming through as we get into the latter part of the weekend, and then a big cool down next week. We'll take a look coming up.